guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today we're gonna go over three things or three beliefs that might be super unpopular in the beauty world, and I'm sure I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. So, first one is, I'm already scared. Let me get my notes. Oh guys, medical grade skincare isn't real. Okay, I'm a little sweaty, so let's, like right when I get out of the shower, I just cannot get cool. So we're gonna put the hair up for just a little bit till I can cool down. Premenopausal, guys, premenopausal. Okay. I don't come across tons of people that swear by medical grade, but it is a thing. I think it is used in dermatologist office. I think it is used in medical cosmetic offices, like places where you might get Botox and filler and facials, etc. Estheticians' offices. I think it's good for them in a way because it's a way for them to make money, and that's why, you know, we work, is to make money. And let's say that you have found a medical grade skincare product that you would die for. Like, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Go for it and buy it and use it and love it. I don't have any problem with people using it. I just want to make sure people understand that it doesn't mean it's better because it's medical grade, and medical grade really isn't a thing. Like, legit, I'm gonna put some articles about all these things I'm talking about in the description box. But based off of factual evidence, there really isn't. It's a made-up thing for marketing. I will just say it like that. It is a made-up thing for marketing purposes to get you to buy something that is more expensive, where the same ingredients might be something in a product at the drugstore, okay? So there are actually no backing or regulations whatsoever to medical grade skincare. It isn't regulated. So a lot of this medical grade skincare could be the same exact formula of something that you would get at Sephora, maybe even a high-end product at Sephora, a lower-end product at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, but it's just in different packaging. And this packaging thing plays a part in something else that I'm going to talk about later. Some people might say it's a higher percentage than something that's at the drugstore. However, how do you prove that that percent is better? And because there's no regulations, that means that something at the drugstore could also be that same percent. Also, something that has more percent of something, higher percentage of something, doesn't necessarily makes it better. More potent is not necessarily better for the skin. It can also, I mean, like a higher potency of, let's say, an active like BHA. You wouldn't put 10% because the highest recommended is 2. Just because you think you can get a medical grade product at a 10%, it actually could irritate the skin and hurt the skin barrier. So that's something to consider. So there is not anywhere an efficacy chart flow for different ingredients and their percentages, and there's no way to test that. There is something that people say about medical grade skincare, that it has better penetration. So we started with like a higher dosage of something, right? Number one, there's no regulation on that. Number two, okay, I had to mess with my camera there, so I might not be at the same angle. Sorry about that. Okay, so the first thing we talked about was potency. Is it a higher potency? Is it a higher percentage of product? Does it matter? Is it regulated? Number two, people will claim that medical grade skincare has better penetration. However, there's no regulation or research to even demonstrate that. And there's no difference in how they're formulated because there is no regulation. Like, it just keeps going back to there is no regulation. So there is no like standard for formulation. It's just like willy-nilly throwing words out. That can't be regulated because skincare is not considered a drug. So like medical grade skincare would be something like tretinoin, because tretinoin is regulated. and it is considered a drug that needs to be regulated, that would be medical grade, right? You need a prescription for that. But most skincare ingredients, they're not considered drugs, so they're not required to be regulated. So there is no regulation and there is no standard for potency, for efficacy on percent of the ingredient in the product, and the penetration that it, like, let's talk vitamin C. The most researched form of vitamin C is ascorbic acid. Okay, so SkinCeuticals came out. It's one of the, #1 really, really good vitamin C's, researched back. The high potency of it, it's 15% ascorbic acid. So is Maylove. Has almost the exact same ingredients. So why am I going to spend over $100 on SkinCeuticals? People say that's medical grade. Okay, well then what is Maylove then? It's using the exact same ingredients almost and the same percent of potency. So why is SkinCeuticals medical grade better? They say it's clinically tested, but they don't actually have to clinically test it to put that on the product. Some have trials, but not a true, robust, scientific research trial that you would see in the scientific world. Like that medical grade product, because there is no standard for a trial on these ingredients, they could say it's clinically tested, but they only had 15 people look at it. So again, there's no standard there either. So here's an example. CeraVe, one of my favorite brands, is owned by a pharmaceutical company who does extreme amounts of research and scientific study and trial on their products. So wouldn't that be considered medical grade? But you can get it at Walmart. So prescription drugs are different. We've talked about that, like adapalene, it's a medical grade, or could be considered a medical grade because it used to be a prescription. But it's no longer, like adapalene gel, you can get it at Walmart now. It's called Differin. That's the brand, but adapalene gel is a form of retinol or a form of vitamin A. So used to be a prescription, now it's not. So now, again, you get something medical grade at the drugstore. There is certain things that are medical grade, like medical grade honey to use on wounds on the body, different fruit at the grocery store. I mean, it's medical grade honey is different than the honey you would get at the grocery store, right? So there are some things that are medical grade, but when it comes to skincare products in particular, most of them are not considered drugs, so they're not going to be medical grade. I think it's just to make money, in my opinion. If you want to buy that medical grade thing, great, use it, love it. If it's doing something for your skin, go for it. But if you're only using it because it says medical grade, then I think we're missing out on something there, and we're spending money that is not necessary to spend. And again, this kind of concept goes through all three of these opinions. And the next one is clean beauty, don't hate me. What does it even mean? It's another thing that's not even regulated. Most things, when you look up clean beauty and what does it mean, it's made without harmful ingredients. Now those harmful ingredient lists are not even standard from product to product because it is not regulated. They need to be environmentally friendly. Does it mean natural? But what does that even mean? So there is really no standard for clean. There's just like a vague outlook on it. Like the harmful ingredients thing is weird, or the natural ingredient thing is weird to me, because a lot of harmful things are natural. Like there are substances and chemicals that are natural in this world that can hurt you. And I don't know. I mean, even if you drink too much water, you can die. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a silly argument to use. Like we need to have more of a standard and real backing on what that means if we're going to have a true clean beauty area of the beauty space. They will say that there are no preservatives in the product, and that's fine. Just know But if there's no preservatives in that product, that's what a paraben is, then it's not gonna last you very long. So you're gonna buy this clean, natural product that's gonna get moldy, and you might not even know that, and then you're freaking putting mold on your face. There's a lot of things that we can't see. There's a reason that parabens are put in products. It's to keep it from hurting your skin on the long term. It keeps it from breaking down really quickly, which means you can use it longer in a really safe capacity. There are more than one kind of paraben, and the parabens that are approved to be used in skincare are okay for your skin. The way we use skincare, we're never gonna use it at a level that's really gonna hurt us. And there are different levels of parabens, and what is in our skincare products are not the bad ones, if that makes sense. In that list of parabens, there are 5 banned and 4 that aren't. And if you want to look at like the most strict countries, if it's Japan is the top, it's the most strict. So if you want something that is strictly enforced and regulated and it says it's from Japan, then it's like it doesn't have any of those bad ingredients, right? The next would be Europe, then the US, and then China. And that's the order of how strict they are with their ingredients. So Japan, Europe, US, then China. We talked about the mold thing. Like, I personally, you can do whatever you want, but I want parabens in my stuff because I need something to be preserved. I don't want to spend $50 every 2 weeks because my product has molded or has gone bad or has gone rancid or whatever it is. Number one, it's a waste of money. And number two, I'm not going to put it on my skin. Okay, people will say, oh, well, if you can't pronounce the ingredient, then it's bad for you. Well, that doesn't make sense, because if you look at the chemical name for blueberries, you're gonna be like, I can't frickin' pronounce that. Almost every natural thing, or every natural thing, does have a scientific name, and that's what's on ingredient lists. So make sure that you're not just looking at a big name and saying, ooh, that's bad, but you're actually looking at what that means. And I'm gonna put down in the comment section, or not the comments, in the description box, some really great resources you can look and check on the ingredient and where it's safe and what country it's safest and all that stuff. Research study saying that they're toxic. Do they say how much to use, and to who is it toxic, and where on our body are we putting it? So we would never use the amount when they are tested on animals, which I hate that things are tested on animals, but they are in a lot of places still. We would never use that amount. And that's kind of where I was talking about water. Water can also be toxic at a certain level, right? So we don't want to be ignorant to what we're using, but we also don't want to be ignorant and not use something that could be really good for us at a small level, because we're never really going to use it at the highest level. And I'm probably rambling at this point, and that doesn't make any sense, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Chemical versus natural ingredient. Like I was saying, like chemical names are for natural ingredients too. Most chemical things that are man-made are derived from natural things. Like, we might pull something out of a plant that is usable, and we can't use the other part because the other part might be poisonous. So we're taking and we're processing that natural plant into something that can be used properly on our skin or in our body. So it's modified to make it safer for use, not more unsafe. Like essential oils is a good example of this. It's a natural product, but long term it can irritate the skin. It can create rashes and really upset the skin barrier. And people that use a lot of natural organic products with a lot of essential oils will sometimes find their skin coming out with something, and they haven't changed their skincare at all. And that's why, because that natural ingredient long term on the skin can actually hurt you. So again, I'm going to put down like the banned ingredients, how they're regulated in the countries and all of that. You can see that in this little list. Paula's Choice Beautypedia is a really great resource, but I'll list that below. And then lastly, so we have medical grade skincare, clean beauty, and the thing that kind of connects the two is there's no real regulation in scientific study research backing these things, and so there's no way to regulate it going across, and it just feels willy-nilly, and both of them seem more like marketing schemes to me. If there's an ingredient that you don't think is good for you, that's totally totally fine, but make sure that you don't think it's good for you because you've actually had a reaction, or you know you're allergic, or you know it does something to your skin or your nails or your hair, and not just because you have heard that the thing is bad, right? Do your research. Actually look at the words that are on your ingredient list and see what's up. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about was luxury beauty is better than low-end prestige drugstore stuff. This is a lot of personal opinion. If something is the best thing I've ever tried in my life and it's $100, I will probably invest my money in it. I think we get blinded by names and companies and brands, and we automatically think it's better than it is. There was this, I don't know who did this, but they brought a bunch of influencers to this store to try on the new high-end shoes, and people were freaking the F out. Like, I take my hair down now. They were like, oh, this is the most beautiful tennis shoe I've ever worn, the most comfortable high heel I've ever worn. Look at the beauty of this. Guys, do you know where they were when they unveiled the store? They were in Payless. It's a mindset. Again, if there is something amazing at a high price point and it's worth it, I'll pay it. But I think we, again, get blinded by the brand name. Now, if you see that a skincare product or a beauty product, makeup product is made in Italy or Europe, it probably deserves to be more expensive. Like if you look at a glass bottle with etching, with a glass top, that is expensive to make, right? Versus something plastic. If something is etched in, not just a sticker, but truly etched in to the product itself, like a lipstick or the actual component of the product, if it's made in Italy or Europe, it's most likely more expensive, and the formula is probably more expensive to make. There are a lot of products that white label and black label, and sometimes they do it for their holiday things to save money. So, for instance, Charlotte Tilbury is a higher end. I don't know that it's luxury like Chanel, but it's a high-end beauty brand. Their eyeshadows, their quads are lovely. They have a certain formula that is different than other things. Where it is made is a little different, a little bit more high-end. When you compare it to her holiday eyeshadow palette, they're made in China, where there's less regulation, things are cheaper to make, but she's still charging the same price as her other things, but it's her holiday eyeshadow palette that was made differently. And people have actually complained that they're not as good. So I think where they are made does play a part. The component that they're in does play a part. I also have an issue with luxury products putting scent in their skincare and beauty products, because long term that can irritate and upset the skin barrier. And I think they do that because it makes you have this whole sensory experience for the brand, and you're like, oh, that smells like Chanel. I'm a Chanel girl. If you are a Chanel girl, I'm excited for you if you can afford that and you love it. I think luxury has some really beautiful formulas, and I think luxury leans or like markets toward people that have a more sophisticated taste in makeup. That's my opinion. That part is my opinion. Like a soft, ethereal look, and everyday, oh my gosh, I wish you guys could see the dog. That is just exhausted on the street right now. He's a huge, huge puppy. Oh my gosh. Nudie, do you see Brucey? You see Brucey? Oh, that was so funny. Anyway, there is something about like when you touch. Here's an example. I have a Guerlain eyeshadow palette that I'm never getting rid of because I think it's stunning. It is really beautiful. Look at how it's got like, you're not gonna be able to see it, but it's got like embossing in it. But I'm going to swatch these and I'm going to show you how soft. It's gorgeous, but you're not going to get, like, if you're somebody who wants something bold and super pigmented, you're not going to get that. And I don't always want that either. But these are just, it's just a different feel and look to the product. It's a softer, more sophisticated feel. And weirdly enough, I was told by another YouTuber through her video, these little components, these little businesses, that luxury customers want those in there. They are expecting that from a luxury brand, so that they expect to have the tools to do the work if they're buying luxury. And I thought that was really, really interesting. Okay, so the packaging, where it's made, and the formula, that does play a part in the price of the product. I think that it's really interesting that drugstore has, like, let's say 20 years ago, luxury was probably better, right? Their formula, the staying power, the just everything about it, everything you're getting from luxury was probably worth it 20 years ago. Now, I just don't think it always is. Not always. Sometimes yes, not always. Drugstore brands, prestige brands, have really, really formulated these products to be stunning. And almost, you can't tell the difference. There's some people that swear by luxury that I just want to slip them something from e.l.f. I want to slip them something from L'Oreal. Or even like something like Merit, Tower 28, something like that, where it's more affordable to them, but they would never touch it in real life. But it's put on their skin and like, ooh, it's just like the Payless situation. If you're not told what it is, can you really tell the difference? People used to talk about, oh, well, you can't return drugstore products. You can't test drugstore products. Well, you can do a lot more of that now. Not for everything, but Ulta and Sephora make it a lot easier to test things and to return. I can return makeup to Walmart. So, like, if it's not the right color, I am taking it back. I think just a lot of things have changed from even 10 years ago and how things are made in the drugstore. I think you are getting what you pay for when it comes to packaging at the drugstore, because it usually breaks and that's shitty. But like, if I can get almost the exact same thing, I don't care about what the brand is. Like, I'm the kind of person that I don't care about what the brand is on my car. I drive a white Toyota minivan because it is useful to me and it runs beautifully. Would like my dream car, sports car, be really fun? Yes, but I don't want to spend the money on that. So if you're somebody who can afford the high-end stuff and you feel like it serves you, I don't want you to stop buying that. I just think we need to be educated and make sure that we know what's really going on, so we know what we're getting and what we're paying for. I think most of us don't research anything we buy. We buy it because we like it, and that's also fine. But I think that there is a stigma with drugstore makeup, not as much now, drugstore skincare, using something with parabens. And I think it's more about, oh, well, the masses say clean beauty is better, so I'm going to use clean beauty. If it's an ethical thing, an environmental thing, I understand it a little bit more, but I just think that we don't research enough, that we just go with the flow. And we just go with what is on social media and what's hyped up, and we just willy-nilly throw our money at it. And I think it's just a little silly, because if you can save the money, why not, right? So maybe you buy a $90 foundation, but you're getting, you know, an $8 lip gloss somewhere instead. Like, I just don't think that it's always better just because it's got a certain name on it. You know what I mean? So I just want us to be smarter consumers all the way around, and just to be smart about what we're putting in our body and on our body and with our money. So those are my 3 very unpopular beliefs. You can let me know yours down below if you agree or disagree. Just be nice down there. I will put all the articles that I found. There's some YouTube videos there from a dermatologist that I follow. And I really love her no-nonsense business when she talks. She's a little weird in other ways, but she's super smart, and I just think we need to follow suit. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.